Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the internet. My name is BMilitant. We are going to be talking about BattleBit Remastered today and why I believe it's one of the most important games of all time. And let's just jump right into it. I'm just going to go through this right off the top of my head. There's no script for this. This is just a conversation I want to have and sit down and talk to you guys. One of the reasons why I think that BattleBit Remastered is going to be one of the most important games of all time and a huge pivot in the gaming industry is because it is an indie shooter that is made by 3 people. Now, it took them a while to do this because they only have 3 people, but what they have done and what they've achieved with just 3 people is actually kind of insane, and it puts games like Battlefield to shame right now, which I will be the first to admit to you that I did kind of stand up for Battlefield 2042 when it first came out, just because I thought it's better than what everyone was saying it was. And it was kind of getting a little bit of hate for just no reason, but the reason that they were getting the hate is the same reason why BattleBit Remastered is one of the most played games right now with over 80,000 concurrent players, and Battlefield 2042 only has probably about 10,000 players normally on an average day. It's the same reason, because people who like the Battlefield formula and played all the old Battlefield games, they want a game like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and that's what we all kind of wanted when Battlefield 2042 came out, but it wasn't that game. I thought it was still an okay game, but a lot of people just kind of shit on it really quickly, and I understand so, and the same reason for that is the reason for BattleBit Remastered's success right now, but what they have been able to achieve with just 3 people instead of DICE and these big AAA studios that have thousands of people working for them and millions of dollars in their pockets to create whatever game they want to, yet they keep putting out these flops and just not having a general connect with what the actual people in the scene want. And we've been wanting what we want is, at least in my opinion, or I feel like most Battlefield fans' opinion, is like a Battlefield 4, but with more maps, more stuff, and just more everything. Just take Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 and just take that formula and make something better and new with new graphics and more destructibility and stuff like that. In Battlefield 2042, there's only like maybe 1 or 2 things that can be exploded and might fall down on one of those like quick time events or whatever it is, you know. There's really no destructibility in those games, and if you were thinking about Battlefield from a couple years ago when we're playing these games like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, you would think, okay, so in the future, what we're going to be doing is getting a better game with better graphics and more destructibility. Let's just go down the line here of things that BattleBit Remastered gets right, and the reason why I think this is going to be one of the most important games of all time, because this is the huge pivot, and we've all are seeing it in front of our eyes of what's going on in the gaming industry and how these AAA developers, they have thousands of people working on a game yet can't make a game that doesn't flop. All these AAA companies are putting out stuff with all these microtransactions. The gamers are not the ones leading the charge anymore. It is greedy corporations, and that's why there's a huge pivot in the gaming scene right now. And I think the success of BattleBit Remastered, a game that's made like $27 million or something in the first 2 weeks of its launch, being created by 3 people, really is showing indie developers really are going to go take the reins and make the games that we want as gamers. And things are going to change now. Last year, Valheim came out and was, I don't know how many people that was made by, but I think maybe 1 person or just not many people, and it's an indie game. That game blew up. Now it's BattleBit Remastered, and I think this is the pivot that DICE and all these AAA like developers, they have to realize we will go elsewhere. We will give these other people money if you don't give us what we want. We've been saying for years we want Battlefield 3 and 4 just remastered, and we want those games with, give us more guns, give us more maps, give us a little bit better graphics, let there be more destructibility. And then look what BattleBit Remastered did. They went out and they said, hey, look, let's just make a game that can run on anything, any computer pretty much. So it's accessible to everybody. It has classes. I think one of the biggest things about BattleBit Remastered is it goes back to the real class-based shooter, the way that Battlefield 3 was, right? Like Battlefield 3 was much more of a game that you had your roles, you had your support and everything. There's not a lot of people that just want to be the Giga Chad run and gun shooter. Not a lot of people want to go out there and just buy these games that aren't shooter fans, right? But the reason that BattleBit has so many players is because they have these different roles, right? Like, so say you want to go and play BattleBit, and you say, hey, to one of your buddies, hey, let's go, come along with me and play BattleBit or whatever, and say they're a different type of gamer than you. They're not somebody who's gonna want to just run and gun and kill a bunch of people. Maybe they're not that good at it or whatever. There's so many people that play BattleBit that just want to play the medic role or play some role to support other people. And this game allows stuff like that. This game just does so much stuff right, and it gets all these other people to come to this game that maybe aren't, you know, they don't want to be MLG top of the line competitive players, you know, but there's still all these other people here to have fun because the voice chat is amazing. The voice chat works so well in this game. So many things just work. You know, there's not so many bugs in this game. I can't think of like one bug that I've really seen. The game has crashed maybe once or twice, and that's probably something more to do with my computer than actually the game. BattleBit Remastered has put other games to shame right now. You can be in a match with 256 players and it doesn't lag. How did they do that? How is that possible? We play Call of Duty with 100 players and there's massive lag. We play games with just, you know, 6 versus 6 and there's massive lag. And somehow these 3 indie developers found a way to get all these players on the map. When you put someone in your crosshair and you pull the trigger, it worked. How do they do that? I don't understand how they've done that. It just goes to show that this game does so many things right. The maps are good. I can't think of, there's maybe 1 or 2 maps where I'm playing it and I'm like, you know, I could be playing a better map. Most of the maps are good. Almost everything is destructible. I just can go on and on about how good this game is. This game is going to show everyone, especially DICE, especially AAA developers like DICE and people making Call of Duty and people making Battlefield. Someone just took your formula and did it better, and now they have 80,000 people playing every single day enjoying the game weeks after release. And for Battlefield 2042, I don't know how many players they had right at launch or whatever, but they did not hold people very long. They only have about 10,000 people playing right now, and these guys are making updates. They're being nice to their community. They're just doing everything right, and they're being rewarded. And then meanwhile, on the other side, we have these AAA developers that are just so out of touch with gaming and gamers and what we want. I feel like their corporations they have thousands of people working for them, but like half of those people just aren't gamers. They don't know what we want. They don't know what a good game is. And I think that's why I made this video, is just to put across this point that I finally think BattleBit Remastered is going to be one of those games that we look back to and think this is the huge change in the gaming landscape. We used to grow up and play games like Call of Duty that were quality titles made by AAA developers growing up. Now that these AAA developers realize they can make so much money, well, they make the game, and then the publishers and all this, they figure out they can make so much money or whatever, so then they dictate what the game is and how the game goes and kind of run these games into the ground and make them irrelevant and all this stuff. They have so many problems. This is the huge change that we've been waiting for, and I think gamers are finally going to go and get into the indie scene and take back gaming, and I think this is a huge pivot. And just to go back and praise BattleBit some more, I haven't played a game like this in so long, where I just like, we're hitting up my buddies and saying, hey man, let's get back online together. I actually bought multiple copies. BattleBit only cost $15. I went out and I bought like 3, 4, I can't even remember, maybe 5 copies of this game and just gifted it to my friends because I wanted to jump in and have fun with my friends. Here in my hometown, there was 2 other guys that I knew. We were jumping in this game every single day when it came out. We didn't have to say anything. Whenever we had the time to get on, whenever you're done work or whatever, they would jump into my game and they would find what squad I'm in and we just start playing together. I haven't had this feeling of a launch in such a long time, and I made a Twitter post about this where it's like, I'm gonna remember back to this while I'm enjoying the launch of BattleBit and how fun and obsessed I am with this game right now. I'm gonna remember back to this because I remember back to games years ago that I was obsessed with. Years later, you miss those games. I'm gonna enjoy and relish in this right now while it's happening. I'm not gonna sit here and take this for granted, and I know how much fun I'm having, and I know that I'm gonna look back to this. It's like having a LAN party back when like old Call of Duties or Halos came out, right? Like when you waited at GameStop to get the game at midnight. That's the feeling that I had playing BattleBit. And I'm gonna end this video, somewhat of a rant, with just another personal story. It's not the easiest to hear, and I'm sorry if you don't want to hear something a little negative. You can click off the video now, but BattleBit Remastered will always hold a place in my heart because, yet again, like I said, when this game came out, all I wanted to do was get my gang of friends together and play this game again. All of us online together in a squad. You can have like 8 players in a squad or something. I wanted to get all my friends together and play. bought the game multiple times and gave it to a few of my friends. Some of them tried it and some of them didn't even try it or whatever. Maybe, I don't know what they had going on, but they didn't even try it. How well BattleBit does the Battlefield formula, I thought back to one of my friends, and I'm not going to name his name. Thought back to one of my friends, and when I first met him back in high school or so, I went into his basement where he was playing Battlefield 2 on his PC, and this is a time where pretty much everybody had consoles and gaming PCs weren't very big, right? So I was watching this guy play Battlefield 2 on his PC, and it just blew my mind. I remembered seeing people parachute in and how big the map was. It just blew my mind as a gamer at that time. So I thought of this guy, and I reached out to him and said, hey man, there's this new game, BattleBit. It's kind of like those old Battlefield games I know you love. I want you to get on the game and play with us. I also told him this game will run on anything. You know, if you just have a computer, come play with us. He said, yeah, sure. I have a computer, but I haven't had it hooked up in years or whatever. It's got a virus on it. And I said, well, you know, I think I have a Microsoft boot thumb drive here somewhere in my house. And he said, awesome, dude. I would really appreciate that if you could help me get this computer up to play with you. So then I go looking around and I don't have one. So I create a new thumb drive with a Windows boot operating system on it. I drive over to his house, help him set his computer up and help him install Windows or whatever. And like 2 days later, we finally got on the game with each other. I'm playing BattleBit with him, and he doesn't have a mic, but he has a headset. So I'm running around like playing the game with him, like yelling his name, hey, watch out, there's a RPG, you know, here, watch out. And, you know, just trying to make the experience a little bit more fun with him because I have a mic and I know he can hear me even though he can't talk back to me or whatever. And we played for hours and we had a really good time. And then he logged off, said goodnight or whatever. And just a couple of days later after that, he passed away. So my last memory is going to be running around in BattleBit with one of my best friends, just having a good time. And if it wasn't for BattleBit, I'm not really sure if we would have had this gaming like reconnection. So whether it's with BattleBit or any other game, please reach out to your friends to have that gaming session because you just never know.